Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is now just under 4 months away from its official release by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio, as well as creator George Lucas. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, what's really exciting about Episode 9 is that we do know that this film is going to have many different twists and turns and revelations that will lead to saga-wide implications in this story, and I think that by far, one of the big exciting aspects of this film is the fact that Palpatine is making a major return, being portrayed by Ian McDiarmid once more in this series. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions, this is where things begin to get very exciting for Episode 9. Now, specifically, shot descriptions consisting of a sequence based in the third act of the film, where it's described that both Rey and Kylo Ren are fighting Palpatine in a 2-on-1 lightsaber duel, where it's said that they eventually fight him in the form of a flash fight, where the environment around them begins to change and shift to the world of Tatooine, where they are now near Mos Eisley and the Lars homestead, where it's described that Palpatine begins to fight them with his single-bladed lightsaber. One of the sequences is said to involve a moment in which Palpatine uses his Force Storm technique and is able to use the Death Star debris by lifting it from the ocean and throwing it through the flash fight on Tatooine, where Rey and Kylo Ren are forced to dodge the heavy piece of the Death Star debris. It's said that as Palpatine lifts the debris, the Death Star 2 is in pieces, however still maintains its shape for a very brief amount of time, where it's still all scattered in the sky. Palpatine is described to use a power far greater than the dark side to use these Force Storms to tear through the fabric of space and time, and is even able to manipulate the flash fights between Ren and Rey. The sequence is described to be very action-packed with a new, intense John Williams score that will cause the fans to stay on the edge of their seats. So let's go over a couple of parts about this, because in case you guys did not know, Force Storms were a big thing in the expanded universe that were actually used by Palpatine in the Dark Empire comic line. And what I love so much about this is that this just shows us how much attention, JJ, George Lucas, Chris Terrio, all of them are really paying attention to the EU and are cherry-picking the best moments from the EU and are using that in, of course, The Rise of Skywalker. However, in this scenario, Palpatine is using the Force Storm technique as a way to tear through the actual flash fight itself, using the Death Star actual, wreckage, lifting it out of the ocean and into the sky, and throwing it from that location through, the fabric of space and time, and throwing it into the flash fight on Tatooine. Now, this is going to be a very surreal moment, and most definitely does, in fact, line directly up with what we went over not too long ago, about how there was going to be an epic moment that's actually going to have a big, wide-scale scene between Rey, Kylo, and Palpatine on Tatooine. And this, by far, lines directly up with what we went over some months ago. So with that being said, we do know that this particular moment is not only introducing a brand new Force power, but it's introducing a type of scenery that we would have never expected to see in a Star Wars film, where you have Tatooine and the Death Star actually in the sky, in pieces, mind you, scattered, where Palpatine is using the wreckage as projectiles toward Rey and Kylo Ren, where they are forced to dodge the pieces of the Death Star 2 coming toward them. Now, this is also to take place near Mos Eisley and, of course, the Lars homestead, two very popular locations in, of course, Tatooine. What I love so much about this as well is that it's described that John Williams created a score for this particular moment that is said to leave the fans on the edge of their seats. This almost reminds me of the Battle of the Heroes theme, where we have both, of course, Palpatine going up against Yoda, in, of course, that conference room, and, of course, Anakin going up against Obi-Wan Kenobi on Mustafar. Very beautiful theme by John Williams, and I would not doubt that he's going to create this new theme to be just as iconic as the Battle of the Heroes for this particular moment. This is yet again another parallel to that of Revenge of the Sith. In Revenge of the Sith, Palpatine was using the seats of the conference room to lunge them toward Yoda. Now he's doing something on a much larger scale, where he's using the pieces of the Death Star in the sky and tossing them toward Rey and Kylo Ren, creating large shockwaves of dust toward Rey and Ren as they dodge these big projectiles of the Death Star. So the last thing that I do want to go over is how this is said to be not only a new moment in which we do realize that this is a power far greater than the dark side that Palpatine is using, all thanks to the Beyond. Now, we're still not quite sure what the Beyond really is, other than the fact that it does indeed power the Dark Acolytes, and that it is a place that holds a power greater than both the Dark and the Light. So keep that in mind here, is that we will be getting a different medium of Star Wars powers in The Rise of Skywalker as far as strength goes. And I think that's going to be a very interesting thing for sure. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.